morning, everyone. Join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We got Caleb Richardson here, the discipleship pastor at the Baptist Church. He's going to do our invocation for us.
God, we should pray over the meeting today. God, we pray for wisdom, discernment, but I think just making public policy is very complicated. God, I pray for thinking beyond step one, beyond the immediate, beyond the first thing, the long-term implications of what society is. God, we pray for reasoning. We pray that emotions don't get too strong. We pray for deep breaths, clarity of thought for everyone in the room, accurately reporting, accurately thinking. God, we pray for grace. Things get tense. God, we pray for the good of the county. Pray that we think of what is best for the people that live here. In your name we pray.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Not getting to you yet, are we? I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion, we approve the claims in the amount of $724,768.15.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And you see these added debates?
Yeah, I'll look at them. I didn't look at them earlier. Sorry.
I'll make a motion, we accept these add-ins and abates and our refund totaling $5,136.06. And the change order numbers are 2024-240 through 2024-243.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any changes on the agenda?
I do. I need to add a 10-minute executive session with the commissioners, Danielle, county counselor, Brian Schroyer, and Randy Hegwald for non-elected personnel, 754319 job performance. And then another same people entering another 10 minutes for contractual.
Okay.
Let's see.
No.
Regarding turning point privilege with the same, well, I just need Randy. No. That's correct.
Can you turn your mic on, please?
Sorry.
I need a 10-minute executive session for attorney-client privilege regarding potential litigation involving the two commissioners and me.
10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. That made an extra 30 minutes of executive session. Is that it?
I need another 10 minutes, non-elected personnel, 754319 Job performance.
Just the 3 commissioners and the attorney, or
And Danielle.
Danielle? Okay. An extra 40 minutes.
Did you need anything added?
You got it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as stated.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 I don't see the sheriff's report at the beginning, but I
Yeah,
can read
that's
it.
in there. And,
Oh, okay. I can read it. I just didn't see it on the agenda.
it's never, we
Okay.
don't put that on there usually, but you want to read it, yeah.
I'll read the sheriff's report for May 19th, 2025. Total prisoners in 54, 13 releases this past week. Total farmed out 3, total farmed in 38. Total 911 calls 74, jail contacts 4354, total calls for service 724. Total civil service papers served 30, been inspections 5, new cases open 29, cases closed 4. Vehicle crashes 3, SRO activity 66, bailiff contacts 98, and 6 livestock out.
AMR?
Good morning, Dawn Brooks with AMR. I'll give you our monthly report for May. We've been pretty busy, May 1st through the 18th. Blue Mound had 2 calls, 1 transport. Centerville had 2 calls, 1 transport. Lacine had 17 calls, 10 transports. Linn Valley had 8 calls, 4 transports. Mound City had 20 calls, 9 transports. Parker had 13 calls, 6 transports. Pleasanton, 15 calls, 9 transports. Prescott, 1 call, 0 transports, for a total of 78 calls and 40 transports for May already. So, and then if you have questions that you want to ask about the proposal, like I said, we're asking for an increase. We can split that over the first 2 years. We're also asking for a 5-year contract, so that 3rd year we'll do a financial review to see if we need any more increase or if we can stay level where we're at. Hard to predict.
I'd like a little more time
Yeah,
to look over this.
for sure.
Before I have questions to present. I might even be able to email them over to you
Yeah,
to kind of
sure.
get some clarification.
And you're asking for 75,000 more a year for the first 2 years.
Yep.
I didn't understand it the other day
Yep.
when we was talking.
Yeah.
That was in there.
Yeah, so it's 150 total, but we thought it would be just better to spread that out over 2 years. That would be a big ask over 1 year.
Okay.
And the reasoning behind that was just because we looked like our numbers were lower than others around us. Was there anything
Sure.
specific?
So our profit margin, they look for a specific margin to be for a healthy, sustainable operation. I think they like it closer to 20% or less than 10. I think it was 7%. And so reimbursement rates with insurance affects that. So they're not raising their reimbursement rates. The call volume has stayed pretty steady. We haven't had any increase over the last few years. So we're paying more for salaries. Everybody gets an annual increase, things like that, they get new trucks, our fleet. All of that, the operational costs keep going up, but we're not going up. So we're trending down in our profit margin over the last couple of years. So we're trying to catch back up before it gets non-sustainable. And I don't know if you have anything else to
I think
add.
that's a fair point. Jason Jenkins, Regional Director with GMR. And I think that she really hit on it. Our biggest expense, as you likely suspect, is payroll. It's about $1.3 million. And we provide a 3% increase to our staff every single year, which is about $40,000. So most of that is really going to be keeping up with just maintaining payroll and making sure you have experienced paramedics and EMTs in your community that know it well. So that's a large portion of it. And then, operational costs are a significant contributing factor. So as she said, we are interested in a 5-year agreement with you, definitely understanding what the financial commitment would be on year 1 and year 2. But as you may or may not know, prior to the subsidy that you're paying now, we did decrease your subsidy it's probably been 5-7 years ago, down to 895. So I don't want you thinking that it will always be increasing, because we have decreased it before. So on year 3, we would sit down with you, look at the finances, and just see where we are and if we need to do something different, up or down, or maintain. So we aren't committed to just always increasing. We will look at it, and if there's an opportunity, like she said, if insurance starts paying more, we wouldn't need as much from you. So we'll be open and transparent on that. But I think, for us, we need to commit to a 2-year understanding of what we can do financially, and then look at it in a few years, 3, 4, and 5, and just extend 1 year each time after that.
When do we need to know something about
That your contract's not up until December of this year, so you've got plenty of time. We just wanted to,
budget time?
get it in front of you so you could budget for it appropriately if this is what you decide to do.
Okay.
Is this something we have to go out to bid for? Is this just contractual?
Since I've been here, we've always used AMR.
You have done RFP before in the past. I've been part of that process probably 3 or 4 times where you've gone to RFP. But the contract currently allows for us to be able to extend if we want to extend. So it's really kind of up to you on what you want to do. And that's why we thought also, if you did want to go out to RFP, that we'd get before you now as well. So you had some time to be able to do that before your contract comes up. But your current contracts allows you to extend what you have with changing the dollar amounts.
Okay.
Do you have a current copy of that contract?
I can provide it to you.
We had a rate increase last year, right? It was or 2 years ago.
Probably
2
2
years
years
ago.
ago. 2 years ago. That's right. Yeah.
Went up like 100,000.
Yeah.
Me to email it to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Prior to that, yeah, I think you're at 1.1 now, if I remember right. You were 895 before, and that's when we had decreased it to that 895 number represented a decrease at that time.
Okay.
Do you want to move with putting it on the agenda for a different date, or kind of just circle back in June? Because if I would just want to circle back in the middle of June.
I'm good with that.
Hold on just a second.
Completely fine.
Can we do June 16th? AMR contract. June 16th, okay. And I'll email if I have any questions. Sure. In the meantime, thank you.
good. Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Welcome.
Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hegwald, Linn County Rural Fire and Emergency Management.
Morning.
This week, call totals, we had 10 total calls, brings our yearly total up to 282. Last week, we discussed selling of some vehicles. I'd like to table that for another week. I'm waiting to hear back from Purple Wave on their selling process, but I also have a meeting with a bunch of other fire chiefs this week, so I want to kind of see how they handle their surplus equipment. Maybe there's something else out there, so I'd like to push that back for another week.
I have a question. Are you talking about the tanks that we discussed last
The
week?
tanks and the SUVs that we discussed last week.
I had a question because some of the public had reached out. Question on surplus. In the past, we had reached out to other departments like Lacine or Lynn Valley to see if they needed anything. Is that something we're not going to be doing anymore? Or is there a reason why we didn't do it with the tanks?
On the tanks, everybody knew we were getting rid of them. We can reach out to them, see if they want them. I know countywide, like county departments, the SUVs, the parks had showed interest in it. So I reached back out to them once we took them out of service, but nobody that I found was interested in the SUVs.
Okay.
So
Did you have a list of the equipment?
I was waiting to just put a whole proposal together.
Okay.
Would you like me to reach out to the other departments on that stuff?
If that's what we've done in the past, that's what I was hearing. And so when we talked about it last week in open session, I had some people reach out to me and they were wondering why we didn't reach out to the
Okay.
local departments
We can.
first.
So
If that's what we've done in the past, I would like to do that.
this is the first time that I've been around that we've got rid of stuff like that. So
Okay.
I,
And then I think we asked for the list of the assets that, or the inventory that we were getting rid of. So if
right.
just email that over to us this week.
Okay.
So-
Yeah. As soon as I hear from Purple Wave, I was going to send something saying, hey, this is what their commissions, and
Okay.
just put together like a packet saying, hey, this is what we can,
Okay.
best option. So
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'd like permission to hire Brandon Lewis as a firefighter at Station 910, which is Mound City. I'd like to forego his pre-employment test because he is already a full-time county employee. And I'd like to bring him on without the probation because he left the county less than a year ago and was on the department, had been for many years, been off probation. I'd like to bring him back at that same status he left in because he left in good standing.
Is that something we can do?
Yes, I discussed it with Rose, and it is something we can do.
Since he's a full-time employee anyway.
So we can waive pre-employment and we can also waive the 90-day probation period.
Correct.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we hire Brandon Lewis for Station 910, foregoing pre-employment and 90-day probation period. That's my motion.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 The only other thing I have is just make the public aware to watch the weather today. Weather Service has sent out briefings this morning saying that we're in a kind of a target for possible tornadoes and high wind and damaging hail. Since I've been here, they've updated it and increased that concern. So just we'll try to keep our Facebook page updated and just everybody be aware of the weather chances today.
I know in the past we've had some issues with the public not being aware of where the shelters were located and which ones were going to be open. Is that just municipalities at their own discretion, or is that something that you can orchestrate somewhat?
So that was brought up before. The county owns Bunker Hill and it's open for storm shelter. Anything other than that, I would prefer executive session to speak about, just because of past conversations with the commissioners and the past county counselor.
Okay, liability.
Yeah. But that's the only building that the county owns that we do open for storm shelter is Bunker Hill.
That's something I wouldn't mind talking about, but just in general, like let's say Prescott has a location where they're going to open up, or Pleasanton Community Center.
Yeah, there's locations all over the county, but
Right.
I can't speak on them. So
I just feel like it's a disconnect with public safety.
yeah,
You want an executive session
Yeah,
for
I
talk
do.
about it for
10
legal-
minutes with
Yeah.
legal.
10 minutes with the two commissioners, Randy and
Oh, well,
Jacqueline?
actually, is Jacqueline available? You have to take a phone call.
I don't know.
Or she just went.
She did take a phone call.
Okay. We'll catch it in a little
Yeah,
bit.
let's catch it here in a little bit.
okay,
Go
no
back
problem.
to that.
That's all I have unless you have other questions.
I don't have anything.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks, Randy. Is Lisa here? There she is.
Good morning, Lisa.
Lisa.
You want to do her
Very
since
good.
Jacqueline's on the phone call right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am, but
I need hers. Okay.
It is.
oh,
Just the commissioners?
yeah.
I'll make a motion. We go into executive session with Lisa Kelstadt for 10 minutes. Non-elected personnel, job descriptions.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Actually, can we add Danielle in there for HR?
Okay. Give it to two commissioners, Danielle and Jacqueline and Lisa, for 10 minutes. We'll return at 9:28. That's my motion.
You okay? I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There was no action.
Have a good day.
It's Chastity.
I believe all she needed was the executive session,
She just needs to.
if memory serves me correct.
Okay. Anybody know how long that is? Here she comes.
Good morning. I don't have anything other than
It's the executive session.
Yep.
How long you need? What do you want? What do we-
probably 10 minutes, maybe?
10 minutes? Okay. I make a motion to go into executive session for 10 minutes for job performance with Chastity, the two commissioners, our attorney, and our clerk too. So that's my motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Return at,
49.
pardon me,
40 now.
9:40. Okay. There was no action.
I'll make a motion. We go into executive session with Randy Hagwald, Brian Schroyer, attorney, commissioners, and Danielle. 10 minutes. I know, I'm looking.
Job performance one.
There were three. The first one we're gonna go in for, trying to think, which one was with Brian?
Non-elected. job
Non-elected
performance.
job performance. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll second that. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll return at 10:52 or 9:52, excuse me.
And Is that 75-43-19 still? Not elected? I don't know the subs.
There's no action from executive session.
I'll make a motion. We go into executive session for 10 minutes with Brian Schroyer, Randy Hegwald, attorney, commissioners, and Danielle. 4319, attorney-client privilege. 10 minutes.
Okay. I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Turn it to 10:03. And again, as an arc city, I was on ethnic presentation. Yep, that's you. There you go.
Your wife just texted me.
The dog.
What does it pay? David, I think all of them. Because we're all, we all have the same responsibilities.
Makes it easier.
Should all be on the same scale.
I'm saying.
Actually, needs to go for.
And the one.
You know.
I'm telling you.
They do lazy boys. Change the game.
You want to go under your attorney-client privilege, 10-minute contract, rule?
No,
Oh, all for the, okay. The attorney,
There's no action.
no action from previous executive session. I make a motion, we go into executive session for 10 minutes, with the attorney-client privilege with the attorney and 2 commissioners. And the clerk, you want in? Do we need the clerk? Okay, it's just the 2 commissioners, the attorney for 10 minutes.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll return at 10:15. There was no action. Where are we at now? What we got?
Were you wanting to discuss
public-
shelters in executive session with Randy?
Pardon me?
Were you wanting to discuss the storm shelters in executive
Yeah.
session with
What,
Randy?
we need 10 minutes for that?
Yeah,
5 minutes?
I'll make a motion. We go into executive session with Randy, Brian, and attorney, HR, or clerk, sorry, and the commissioners for 5 minutes. Returning at 10:22.
10:20?
10:22.
1:22. Okay. I'll second that. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Was no action.
In regards to storm shelters, Bunker Hill will be open in the event of a tornado watch. That said, the county would implore you to contact your local churches and your cities regarding any shelters that are available within city limits or that might be offered by local nonprofits or churches.
Okay. Jesse's not here, right? He didn't-
I do have notes for Jesse
okay.
on behalf of Jesse.
Okay.
Gabe is here to speak about the 1095 project. Did you have anything to bring new?
Not necessarily, really just here to, in support of Jeff, and also answer questions.
Can you come to the mic, please? Just hey.
I'm really just here as a follow-up on the contract with the Department of Transportation, to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, we really needed to get that signed. I didn't hear from Jesse this past week though. Does he have a copy of it that we can look? Did you look through the contract? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it seems like something that has already been worked through pretty well, so I leave it to the commissioner's discretion.
So, just to give some context to the contract, it is a very standard contract. The grant it is a federal program that it's administered through KDOT. So the contract in and of itself is it's both federal, state. It's not necessarily unique to this project or, but it's a very standard document. Very unlikely to be amended per se. I'd say the biggest thing it does is makes the county aware of the amount they will be receiving, and then also what their estimated encumbrances for the project beyond what they would receive from the state would be. So I'd say that's the biggest aspects of the document is to, one, make you aware of what the money is, what it covers, but then also to make you aware of what it does not cover.
The only question I had, and I briefly talked to Jesse about it on the resurfacing side of that, which was the larger portion of that bid that you'd given us last week. I can't find it for some reason.
And Jesse followed up.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I know I had it. Just
That's fine.
those are the two. I'll give it back. Those are the two that he was saying. Those still have to go out for the RFP process.
No, that they are included in this contract. However, the state funds will not cover that portion. So the state funds are for, I think, $365,000, and they are safety improvements to include striping, signing, things like that after the road is overlaid. However, to make the contract more appealing to contractors, it is all one contract. However, the state's portion covers the safety upgrades and the county is responsible for what is called the non-participating, and that is the patching and the asphalt overlay.
So my question was, what is this coming out of? What fund? Is this something that we've already allocated?
That we do, we
Is it-
budget for overlay for each year.
Okay.
And I don't know if we've got that much budgeted in.
Like, I'm okay with signing it if we budgeted that amount.
We do that, we try to overlay so many miles of road each year.
I guess that was my only question. Does that make sense? So I would feel more
Jesse
comfortable
wouldn't
if
know
I
about the
knew
code.
that we budgeted that amount to cover.
And this is just an estimate of what you say it'll cost to open.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. It is my honest opinion, having driven the road and assessed it, that it is a not to exceed overestimate because the patching quantity is so much more than the overlay quantity. The state had, just based on the previous protocols, wanted us to include 5% of the road to be patched. I sent some of our guys out to inspect it, and we think it's much more under 1% of the road to be patched. It's in fairly good condition, and that's why the overlay it's a 1-inch overlay. So we're not trying to build up a large amount of road structure. With that extra overlay, it gives us a good road to come in and stripe, to sign. Then you have just a nice, safe road. However, so I can't remember exactly what that patching amount is.
That shows 600,000.
It is my personal opinion, having driven it, that the protocol to include 5%, we're not going to hit anywhere close to that. So I think what we need to do is for you to prepare yourselves for probably $200,000 worth of patching on the high end. And then that overlay quantity is a
464, 7.
I feel that one is going to be close to your probable construction cost.
How many miles of that is this?
5.2.
5.2, okay.
So can we put this on the agenda for signing May 26th? Make sure Todd Mueller is here with Jesse. I want to make sure that we have appropriated the right funds to complete.
Jesse just messaged me. He's watching live.
Oh,
He said the money is there. There's over $1 million in funds.
okay.
And I believe that's including equipment reserve funds for road and bridge.
Can we just do it? Do we
Let's
still
just do
have
it
time
then.
if we do it next week then?
Is that correct? Do we have time?
That is correct. That was, again, I don't have intimate knowledge of your budget process. However, in working through it, this money has been allocated. And I don't think it's necessarily been encumbered, but it has been.
We planned it because
We've been planning
we
for
changed our roads, our resurfacing to do this.
Yes, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised in the end that you're going to have money left over.
Okay. I'm okay with signing it. I did briefly talk to Todd about it. I think that they wanted to go ahead and put this one out, and then that would relieve Todd, give him some extra time to work on other little projects in the county.
Okay.
So I'm okay if this one goes out. Does Jesse look like he's okay with us signing it?
Yes, Jesse said he wants to move forward with the 1095 project. He said
Okay.
he would like to include paving of 1850 Road west toward Tanglewood and east toward the Blue Water Tower.
I'm fine with that. But that isn't on
Paving
this.
more road, but not on this one.
Not on this one though.
I think should be, again, should you be pleasantly surprised and there's budget allowed, then we can go out with another contract after this to make those roads a priority as well.
So let's just go ahead and put Todd and Jesse on the agenda for next week to discuss those two roads that he just talked about. But I'm okay with signing what.
What this
Yeah, in
is
front of
here,
us
I'm
right
good
now.
with this.
Me too. We'll talk about the other roads next week.
Okay.
Because we do need to get that started with asphalt, so.
You realize 26 is all.
Correct. Yeah,
Oh,
our next
sorry.
meeting is going to be the 27th.
Okay.
But we'll sorry by the end of our meeting.
Thank you.
So we need to have a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion that we approve the, is it the competition? What it's called? Hold on.
On
The HMA 1095 overlay project provided by Peppercorn for the total amount of $1,449,086.18.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Commissioner Johnson, what you'll be signing is your.
You want to step back up there, please?
Pardon me, Commissioner Johnson, what you'll be signing is if I'm looking correctly, you had the estimate originally, but the agreement with KDOT.
Right. I don't have it. I don't.
We'll get it. and
Okay.
Get it.
Wonderful.
Ask Jesse where it is. If he's listening, maybe he can let us know where that's at. Did you email that to Jesse?
I did, however, I can follow up.
I don't have it. Do you have it? You can email it to me and I can print it real quick.
She
Again,
can print it right now. We'll get it signed. Do you need
Okay.
a copy of that before you leave?
I do not. Jesse's been corresponding with your KDOT liaison, so it really just here in support of Jesse, but then also to answer any nuanced questions about the process.
I appreciate it. We'll get it signed and get it on Jesse's desk.
Awesome.
Today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Jesse also said KDHE has approved the vertical cell expansion for the landfill. So just updating you on KDHE there. Old Military Bridge, he heard back from the engineer and said that it does need replaced due to its age. Our on-call engineer is CEFS, and they said that they will apply for free for us, apply for a $2 million grant to get that rebuilt, replaced. Our cost out of that would be moving utilities and then purchasing right-of-way. Alternatively, the Historical Society could allow us to demo the current bridge and rebuild in the exact same spots.
What are they saying? We should condemn the bridge now then, or, I mean,
I'm not sure what their current word is.
I personally would like to get a second opinion on that old military bridge. That would be my opinion. I feel like it's one of 2 historic bridges in our county, so I am not in favor of demoing the bridge. Is that
Mind to reread Jesse's question, just to
Yeah.
maybe able to give some context.
Can you just reread the old military?
Sure.
You want him to-
Old Military Bridge needs replaced due to its age. There's a $2 million grant that our on-call engineer will apply for free at no cost to us. What would be our cost is moving utilities and purchasing new right-of-way. Alternatively, we could ask the Historical Society for permission to demo the current bridge and rebuild in the same place.
Would we not be rebuilding in the same place? I'm confused with that.
What I'm understanding,
Historical structure, then we couldn't tear it down.
if I'm understanding Jesse's question
Jesse
correctly,
said we don't have to demo the bridge.
Okay.
I
We
think
do
at
not
this,
have to demo.
at this point, really all that you've had a consultant say, hey, there's a grant out there. We've identified this bridge will need to be replaced at some point. For free, we will apply for this grant for you. And this is a common practice where, we'll much like what I'm here today, we'll help you get these grants and then help you design the project. So I think this, if I'm understanding Jesse correctly, CFS has helped you identify this structure, identify a grant that it may be an option for. It's right now, it is far too far in the future to say, okay, will it be in this spot? Will it be in this spot? However, again, like this grant has requirements. This grant that I think CFS is looking at, it wouldn't necessarily move your utilities or buy right of way or anything of that nature, but it is $2 million to potentially get the bridge fixed, rehabilitated, removed. Again, there's far too many questions to answer, but if I'm summarizing Jesse correctly, this at no cost to the county, someone will apply for the grant for you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we revisit the
Sure.
bridge next week? I'm just want to talk to him about that.
Okay.
And then we had discussed adopting a new policy into our handbook.
Okay, so this is resolution 2025-11. We are adopting a resolution for safety footwear reimbursement policy into the county employee handbook of personnel and administrative policies. Whereas the Linn County Board of Commissioners has adopted the personnel policy and made it available to qualifying employees in a document known as the safety footwear reimbursement policy. Has adopted policies and made them available to county employees in a document known as the employee handbook of personnel and administrative policies. Section 1, the new section 10.7 footwear safety policy of employee handbook is adopted as attached. It states why the safety measure for reimbursement was created and what it entails. In addition, the new policy outlines who will qualify for the adopted policy. It details the procedures to be followed and utilize the adopted policy. It explains qualifying details for reimbursement and required documentation. The commissioners, department heads, and elected officials hereby authorize and directed to take such action as necessary to carry out and comply with the intent of this resolution. This policy shall take effect May 19th, 2025. That's my motion. And here's this. It is for a $200 once per calendar year for a pair of safety footwear that meets OSHA standards for job being performed in an area where the following hazards exist: electrocution, general electrical hazards, sparks, molten metal, penetration by chemical, penetration by sharp objects, compression by rolling or pinching. And it continues on to qualification for purchasing. And there is a safety reimbursement form that would also be included to the employees that qualify. That was long, sorry.
So we need a motion.
That's my motion.
That's your
Sorry.
motion. Okay. I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Danielle, will you be emailing those employees that have emails, and then can we send out maybe with the next pay period
Sure, I can send it out to department heads that would have employees.
so they can notify the employees that don't have emails?
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to circle back to Old Military Bridge, Jesse said that grant is due sooner than Monday. So does he have your permission to allow the on-call engineer to at least apply for that $2 million grant?
I don't see the purpose of applying for it because I don't want it replaced.
Okay, so the grant could be to repair it as well.
Okay.
Not just
That's fine then.
replace, rehabilitate, repair.
Okay.
Something that he's gonna have to spend a lot of time on? Or is it,
The engineer's gonna do the
Do it all.
application.
I don't have a problem
Charged
with
for
it.
that?
Cost to us.
If we don't spend time on it.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And Justin, have anything else?
One more thing, Jesse would like to go out for RFP to buy more culverts.
I'm fine with that. If you need them.
I'm good with it.
That is it from Jesse.
Okay.
Other than, I think maybe this lease would fall under Jesse. I didn't read this. Do you have more information about it, Jacqueline?
No, I don't have any more information.
This is a lease agreement from the city of Parker.
Maybe I'll install in the contract for the
Thank you.
What was, did you read through this lease agreement?
City of Parker was wanting, an agreement. They had asked Jesse for that, so we just forwarded it on to us for our consideration, so. There, it has to do with the community center.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's the
Our
Linn County
building?
Senior Citizen Building.
Our building.
That we was trying to,
And we're leasing it to the city of Parker. And this is what we've done in the past.
I don't know, all I know is that Jesse sent to me that he got it from,
The city of Parker, they came up with that out of their city council meeting.
this is the first I've seen this, I guess
It's a 99-year lease. I would want more time.
I would too.
I don't.
I would,
Okay. We'll table it.
Table it for next week. If Jesse can bring more information on that.
Can you send that to us too, please?
Yes.
And also, I need an update on the courthouse RFP and what we're doing with that. Did you have anything that you need to speak? Okay. Okay.
We'll open it up for public comment.
Oh, how are you?
Hi, guys. Christy Schmitz, Register of Deeds, but I'm not here on behalf of my office. I'm here on behalf of the citizens of Linn County. And I know we all care about the appearance of the courthouse square. I realize that the county has a contract for the mowing of the county properties. But I would like to request respectfully that the courthouse square be taken from that contract and given back to our maintenance department. The reason being is, excuse me, excuse me. Pardon me. Danny Nation really cares about the appearance of the square, as all of us. And you can tell by the formal gardens that the master gardeners have been working on around the courthouse. The public comes into the courthouse and comments on how beautiful the gardens are, but wonder why the yard looks like it needs to be baled. The mowers come in as fast as they can mow, and they leave a mess. Now, Danny does come in and do the trimming that you have requested him to do around the sidewalks and such. But when Danny was caring for the courthouse square, the mowing was done in a nice, beautiful, diagonal manner on different paths instead of the same path over and over and over where there's grooves in the lawn and such. He seeded, he fertilized, he sprayed the weeds, he trimmed and made the courthouse square absolutely stunning, especially with our beautiful gardens that the master gardeners have been working on, which, by the way, has not cost the county anything this year. I did request a budget earlier, but that garden's been put on hold. But anyway, that's my comment. It's on behalf of the citizens of the county and how much we care about the appearance of our courthouse. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll look into that. We'll let
Thank you.
know.
Thanks, Ally.
Yeah. Do we still have a lawnmower with the county though? Christy, do you know, do we still have the lawnmower in the maintenance department? I thought we got rid of that. So is Danny available? I think Danny needs to come in. I'll have Danielle put it on the agenda. But I need to know what equipment we have. I don't think
That would be awesome. I would love to revisit this situation because it's very disappointing for the grounds to look so poor. So that's why I'm here. And I appreciate you guys' time.
Let me look into it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
If I can make a comment.
Step to the mic, would you please, and state your name, please?
Well, Jim is on the agenda to talk about Tanglewood, so am I. Is it possible for me to speak after Jim?
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with
If
it.
you want to
Thank
wait.
you.
Yeah. Can you give us your name and yours?
Don Bendetti.
I think there's another one.
You want to speak in public comment?
I remembered this time. Good morning. I just wanted to follow up with you guys about coming about 3 weeks ago. I hadn't heard from anybody. I've been trying to get a hold of my commissioner and I've had no success. His voicemail is full, so I can't even leave a message. I've emailed, I've texted. I haven't gotten a response. I tried you, Ally. I left you a voicemail. I know you're not my direct commissioner. You are a commissioner. You are the one that said you guys would get back with me. I just wanted to know if you guys had anything to say or if we've come to
Public comment back to you. I don't have one.
Okay, so then do we just need to move forward with a lawsuit? That's what I'm wanting to know. I mean, the more it rains, the worse our roads are getting.
We've made a public statement regarding that though.
Correct, and I spoke after that and was told that you would get back with me.
We made a public statement after that here with our attorney.
When was
Hold on,
that?
we'll look up the minutes. We did. I'm pretty sure. Let me go.
No, ma'am.
Hold on just a sec.
It's going to take me a minute.
Okay, well, if you just let her look into this.
Yeah,
then we'll
sure.
move on. But
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll close public comment on the business. Jim Hendershot for Tanglewood Roads.
Have some documents here that I'll be referring to that I've got copies for.
okay, thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to the commission today about Tanglewood roads. As Mr. Bendetti had offered, I do have a 15-minute time slot, and I have no issue with if you will allow some of that 15 minutes for these other two to speak, because I think they have some very valuable things to add. I want to go back on just a little bit of history, and then I'll refer back to that history with some questions and some exhibits. Starting on March 17th of this year, and this is from your minutes, that several residents addressed the county commission on the recent ruling by Judge Andrea Purvis that the roads in Tanglewood are public, and this was the result of a criminal suit. On March 24th, again in your minutes, the commission advised Sean West to track road complaints from Tanglewood. Commissioner Hightower reported attending the Tanglewood Board of Directors meeting, and that Jim Hendershot and myself addressed the county commission asking for a decision on the roads by the commission to avoid future complications. The following week, on March 31st, Ralph Kelsey addressed the board. Mr. Kelsey is a Tanglewood board member. He addressed you to decide if the roads were public or private. And at that point, Commissioner Hightower requested the county council to reach out to the Tanglewood Council. On April 21st, Commissioner Hightower provided an update from Tanglewood Board with a list of considerations and desires they have to create a partnership with the county. Jim Hendershot and Don Bendetti requested a resolution of the roads question and establishing a partnership between the county and Tanglewood. On April 28th, again from your minutes, County Councilor Jacqueline Paletta shared that she had a conversation with legal counsel for Tanglewood. She shared that the county commission's, quote, decision that the roads remain private and that there will not be a resolution to change anything. When I stated this position is contrary to the court ruling, Paletta shared the court order was from a criminal case and this was a civil matter and does not affect zoning. Hendershot asked why the plats for Tanglewood Lakes state the roads are public, and Paletta responded the county has not ever used or maintained the roads and that will not change. That same meeting, Chuck Stevens, our Tanglewood president, addressed the county commission. Paletta restated that nothing will be changing for Tanglewood and she will continue to communicate with Tanglewood legal counsel. Commissioner Hightower added that Tanglewood should submit requests to the county as assistance agreements. At that same meeting, Eva Riojas Mackey addressed the Board of County Commissioners, stating that if the Tanglewood gates are returned into operation, she would tear them down again per the district court ruling. After when I perceived this as a threat from Ms. Mackey to the county commission of a lawsuit, then the county councilor Paletta advised the Board of County Commission to abstain from comment until she could review the material provided by Ms. Mackey and advise the Board of County Commission on how to respond. The documents that I passed out to you, the one marked Exhibit 1 is a January 13th, 1974 resolution approved by the Board of County Commissioners, recorded in Miscellaneous Book 22, pages 443 and 444, that approves and accepts 33 plats for Tanglewood. Exhibit number 2 is dated January 28th, 1974. It's another resolution recorded in Miscellaneous Book 22, page 603, approving and accepting an additional 11 plats for Tanglewood. Exhibit number 3 is dated June 28th, 1974. It's an entry recorded in Miscellaneous Book 22, page 647 by the Register of Deeds, Dolly Jameson, stating a complete plat, of Tanglewood was provided to her office for recording. The plat was too large for Xeroxing, but is indexed on each of the Tanglewood Lakes plats that were previously recorded. Exhibit number 4 that I've provided you is a copy of dedication language that's contained on the individual plats from Tanglewood that states that we, the owners of Tanglewood Lake subdivision, plat number, fill in the appropriate plat, Linn County, Kansas, do hereby publish, declare, and acknowledge the plat thereof, with the lots, streets, and utility easements as shown thereon, and do hereby dedicate all streets as shown on the plat to the public forever. These bring upon us what I feel are some very important questions. Referring back to the April 28th meetings, the minutes, when County Councilor Paletta shared it was the decision of the commission that the roads remain private and that there will not be a resolution to change anything. My question is, when was this decision made? And is this the official position of the Board of County Commission, or is it the position of the county councilor? Number two, referring back to the April 28th meeting, County Councilor Paletta shared it that the district court ruling was a criminal case and this is a civil matter that does not affect zoning. As a retired zoning official, I offer this matter has nothing to do with zoning. Number three, referred back again to the April 28th meeting, County Councilor Paletta stated that the county has never used or maintained the roads within Tanglewood, and that will not change. Again, I ask, is this the official position of the County Commission or of legal counsel? The last point is referring back again to the April 28th minute. County Councilor Paletta advised the Board of County Commission to abstain from comments to Ms. Mackey's presentation till she could review the material provided by Ms. Mackey and advise the County Commission on how to respond. My question is, and obviously it is again from Ms. Mackey, has that response been provided? In conclusion, all documents and information provided on this matter indicate the roads are public. This includes court rulings, accepted and recorded plats, dedicated language on these plats. It's confusing that the Board of County Commissioners can responsibly take the position of the roads are private without some type of official action that would be contrary to the plats and court ruling. But again, I emphasize, the commission has not taken an official position, but rather the county councilor has spoken for you without any vote for the position on the position by the county commission. This has happened in the past with a former county legal counselor issuing a letter of opinion that the roads are private. We all know this is nothing more than an opinion and has no legal standing, but certainly adds to the confusion. I can see a vicious cycle unfolding in the future. The county commission unofficially says the roads are private. The courts ruled the roads are public. Currently, the gates to Tanglewood are open and in compliance with the district court. At some future point in time, the Tanglewood board, unaware of the history of the matter, decides to reactivate the gates because the county commission or their legal counsel unofficially stated the roads are private. As promised, Ms. Riojas Mackey has the gates torn down. Soon, all are back in court, and we all know the position of district court. All current and future confusion can be clarified if the Board of County Commission takes an official stance, something as simple as a motion, a second, and a vote to be recorded in the minutes. I understand the financial burden to the county with 26 additional miles of public roads added to the budget and public works scheduling. As a result, Tanglewood has offered a partnership considerations to ease this burden. To my knowledge, Tanglewood has yet to receive a response on this concept. I am not here before you today advocating for public or private streets. I am here asking the commission to do something official, something other than Chairman Johnson stating that the roads have always been private, so as far as I'm concerned, they are private, as he stated in a previous meeting. Something other than the county councilor announcing an unknown decision by the Board of County Commission that the roads are private and no other further action will be taken. As elected officials, you are expected to and have a responsibility for making difficult decisions. Please take official action or position on this matter to enable all parties to move on in a responsible manner. With that, I would answer any questions you might have for me.
I don't have any.
Okay, can I expect at some point in time some responses to my questions?
Well, I've stated my response. Can we, the way I feel?
I would rather continue with everyone else and then go to executive session to discuss.
Very good. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hello. Hi, my name is Heather Brecht. I am a property owner at Tanglewood Lakes. I'm also a real estate agent, and I do a lot of business in Tanglewood. And in the last 4 years, we have experienced tremendous growth and property values going up. Of course, property values going up means taxes have been going up. I have here just a small sample of properties that I have helped sell in Tanglewood where taxes have doubled and tripled in the last 4 years. I also did a quick search on properties that have sold in Linn County over the last 180 days. Now, keep in mind, this is real estate season, so this is a very good sample. Of 54 properties that have sold in Linn County, again, in the last 18 days, 18 were in lake communities. Of the properties that sold over the $300,000 mark, 5 of 14 were sold at lakes. The properties that were not sold at lakes all include large parcels of acreage and land, okay? And as we know, you can't build more land. I don't see a lot of subdivisions coming up in Linn County where people are building $500,000 houses. So it seems to me that the county needs to recognize that their future tax growth and base is concentrated in these lake communities. However, we just seem like an afterthought to you guys. That's just how we feel. We feel dismissed and like an afterthought. And I think you're ignoring a large potential tax base that is going to be coming up in the next 10 years, 5 years. When listing a property, legally, there are certain fields that have to be filled out when we enter the property into the system. One of those fields is, are the roads private or are they public? How am I supposed to answer that? What am I supposed to say to clients? How do I fill that out? We don't know, okay? You say that they are and always have been private, but as we all know, a judge has ruled them public. If they are private, should we be able to utilize our gates? You guys all sat here in this room and heard that if we do, they're going to get torn down. We have asked about whether or not we should be maintaining our own roads. But as we know, there are lawsuits all over the place. If they are public roads, how are we supposed to maintain those without opening ourselves up to litigation and future liability? These issues also are affecting property sales. People see the drama in the media and want nothing to do with it. I have had numerous people tell me that they love a property, but they aren't willing to invest here because of the issues. And what about the people who did invest here? They bought into a property under the assumption that it was a private gated community. We need action from you. A statement saying that they are private is a joke, holds no legal weight, and provides us no clear path forward. We are taxpayers. We have been paying increasingly higher and higher taxes with nothing in return. Your inaction is not only jeopardizing property values, it is compromising the safety of our community and the health of our lakes. If the roads are public, come in and fix them and allow us to divert those funds to use for security and secure our lake access. If you're not willing to maintain these roads, you got to do something legal and in writing to allow us to have control of our community. And regardless of your decision on this, please start taking the lake communities more serious. As I have said, this is your future tax growth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Don Bendetti, and I'm a resident at Tanglewood Lakes. I do not represent the Board of Directors. As a follow-up to Jim and Heather's comments, all the documents and the judge's decision show that Tanglewood is public. Although I disagree with this fact, one of two things really need to be done. The commissioners really need to accept the fact that Tanglewood is public and put this acknowledgement in a legal document. Given this, the county needs to make some form of restitution for the 50-plus years of property taxes that have been paid and no direct services provided to Tanglewood Lakes. Additionally, establish an agreement for ongoing support. Based on what I heard this morning on paving roads on 1095, right now is the perfect time to make the decision to redirect those funds to paving the roads in Tanglewood Lake. we would much prefer to see the roads in Tanglewood Lakes paved than a resurfacing of 1095. It was also mentioned at today's meeting that apparently there's close to $1 million available, and now's the time to redirect to Tanglewood. Another option for you is to officially document that Tanglewood had not been accepted as public and that the county deems Tanglewood to be private. This should not negate the fact that Tanglewood should start receiving some sort of benefits for our tax dollars. So far, it appears the commission is not going to take any action other than verbally say that Tanglewood is private. You refuse to put this in a legally binding document. So be advised that myself and several other owners are looking into starting a class action lawsuit against the commissioners and the county. We acknowledge that this could be a long process. However, it is the only action we feel can be taken at this time. Also, because of the lack of inaction, we plan on contacting all the news media. This has been a lot of interest, and there has been a lot of interest in Rogue Homeowners Association. It will be interesting to see how Rogue County Commissioners plays out. That's all I have to say regarding the roads, but one thing I would have to like to say on a positive note is I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department for their increased patrolling and hope that this we get this additional support during the holiday weekends and continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Anyone else on Tanglewood? I'll make a motion. We go into executive session with legal and the commissioners or attorney-client privilege
Regarding potential litigation.
regarding potential litigation.
How long?
10 minutes.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Hi, returning at 11:14.
Aye.
Oh, you did?
It was not a personal attack, I promise.
There's no action from executive session. I make a motion, we take a 5-minute recess.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Whenever you're ready, Jim.
Okay. You have something?
So there was action?
No action from executive session.
Okay, no action. Estimation of action? Well, I'm here to speak.
There's no. In executive session, no action is ever taken. Action is taken in the public meeting.
Okay, so referring to our response that you guys are requesting, I make a motion that we refer back to resolution 2014-16. This refers to all lake communities in Linn County that are privately owned and will continue to stay privately owned and maintained by those particular gated communities. This is, again, resolution 2014-16. If you would like to get a copy of this resolution, it is available through core requests through the county clerk's office. That's my motion.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And the high-risk roads, we're done with that, right? Scott Lloyd group here.
Scott Lloyd is not here today. He did provide me with the budget estimates for the small entities.
Okay.
The second page is the contact that I was telling you about. Her name is Joyce Wilson.
And the second one's another lady that would be interested in helping us with.
That's correct, yep. She's the city clerk for the city of Olby. She does this for their entities currently, and she said that she would extend her services to our county for a fraction of the price.
The 100 to 300 in this series, it gets up to 2,000, so it'd be considerably cheaper to go with Joyce Wilson. Should we go out for bids or?
Well, actually, it's up to the entities. You guys really don't have any say over who they use and when, unless you.
We're just saying we're not going to be paying the $18,750 to do the budgets for them.
They can reach out to this gal for.
Absolutely, and I have her contact phone number and email.
Is it something that you would want to learn how she's
Absolutely,
doing?
yes.
So maybe, okay.
So I talked to her, and what I envision is reserving this space for evenings for her to come here and work with our entities.
What?
And I'll be here as well.
What did David charge him before?
David was only charging $30 per entity for his services.
How do you feel that as far as helping them out the first year till we decide what? On that?
Well, what I'm hearing you say is this is something that we could bring Joyce in, and then we would pay, or we could potentially pay.
We could help them if we got their $30
Right.
from them, and we could help them with the difference on it for the first year or so to see. I don't know.
I think that she's saying assistance to entities for 100 to 300, depending on size of budget and depth of work. So I don't have a problem helping them out, but maybe she could get more information from them and then come back to us with an estimate that we can
kind of know how much it was.
see. Like this, we would have to make a motion to approve this from Scott Lloyd, right? So if we could get something more
She could look at these and detail what it would cost us.
Correct. Scott Wood was wondering the scope of his work for his letter of engagement. So I said I would bring this to you guys today since you asked for it.
Could we do that from her?
Sure.
On the same type of deal and see, and then we'd have an idea what it would cost us more than the townships of what they're used to paying.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I think for direction for Scott though, I would not be interested in
No,
doing
I'm
that.
not interested in him doing this for the townships and libraries.
But I am interested in Joyce, so, okay.
I'm good with that.
I'll keep it, okay.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. Is it okay that if I invite him to come back next week, that we can put it on the agenda
Yes.
to make a motion,
Yes.
an actionable motion?
Yep.
Right.
Excellent.
I'm good with that. And if you have Joyce's information as well by next week, I could
Absolutely.
move forward with that.
Yep, I'm good with it. Move on to Mac Carlisle.
Morning.
Good morning. My name's Matt Carlisle. I live with my wife at 10827 West 200 Road, which is located in the 2nd District, about 5 miles west of Manny
Okay.
is our location, along that blacktop road that extends from Manny to Blue Mound. And I've come to notice over the past month or two that we were losing quite a bit of grass cover to bare ground while traveling to and from work this spring. First, let me back up just a moment and give you a little bit of my credentials, I guess, before I start talking about this sort of thing. I was a 35-year employee of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The last 21 of those, I was the project manager at Melbourne Lake, and so I was responsible for overseeing lots of projects that are under my purview as far as road repairs are concerned and park repairs in roads in the parks, roads that were used for public to travel from park to park. So there's, I'm not without a certain amount of credentials in that regard. One thing I always emphasize to my crew was we left an area looking better than we found it. That's not always easy to do. We used a lot of stone and underlayments that would be pervious to water, but impervious to vegetative growth. That seemed to work pretty well. Sometimes you can't afford to do all that, though. I mean, there's lots of that type of work that would be required in the county to accomplish the same thing. But nonetheless, I think there's ways of approaching it. The areas that I noticed that have been sprayed and basically killed off where culverts are located and intersections converge and serve as conduits for runoff and floodwaters. In other words, those are our most vulnerable locations to losing our topsoil and subsoil, and a lot of that happens right near creeks and streams. And of course, chemical used in those areas would end up in those waters at some point. Unless something is escaping me that I don't know about, it seems like we're kind of making a serious mistake in how we approach it. Establishing dense vegetative growth for the placement of large stones has always been key to preventing erosion from undermining culverts. Then there is the little matter of the chemicals, as I mentioned, that could wash into creeks and streams. Thinking maybe there could be more use of selective herbicides that would not target all vegetation, but broadleaf weeds, for instance, or there's selective herbicides for almost everything. But that might be a cost concern that I don't know. But to me, it'd be better to have some vegetation there, even though it might be a little unsightly, than to have nothing, because anything is going to protect the soil better than nothing. And where a lot of these areas are at are in ditches where it's not impairing the sight line of vehicle operators, but some people may think it's somewhat unsightly. I don't, but it'd be pretty easy to use selective herbicides and just kill the brush, the woody vegetation that's going to grow up higher and be an impediment to somebody's view. And they're not small areas. At where my wife and I live, the intersection just to the east of our place has been killed off on both sides of Jackson Road and both sides of 200 Road. About a total distance of about 300 linear feet. And it's pretty, it's an unsightly mess right now, in my opinion. And then there's, of course, the control of noxious weeds along our roadways. And I certainly appreciate the challenge those men have. You know, there's just a lot of roadway, and you can't go out like I do with a hand sprayer and get it done. That'd be totally impractical. But I do try to get ahead of the sprayer somewhat each year. I spray it twice myself at times when, but unfortunately, those times overlap, you know, with the county's crew, and so I get it sprayed, and then they come along and spray an area several times larger than what I just sprayed because I'm trying to spray individual plants. But I appreciate that. I mean, that's not. They can't wait for me to get my work done. And chemical spraying doesn't show up in a day or two. It takes a week or two. So that just can't be helped, I guess. But it seems like maybe we could be a little more selective and target smaller areas to spray, because once you kill an area off, you know, it's going to keep coming back in weeds. It's not going to come back in fescue or, you know, grass that's going to hold the soil very well. So I think that's a bit of a problem. So I hate to see, I don't like to come in and complain about anything, but it's to me a serious job, a serious situation. It's going to worsen what we already have as far as trying to maintain our roads and our drain and our culvert areas and overpasses and places where there's serious erosion possibilities. And I just like to see us take a more targeted approach, I guess, at how we deal with it. I do appreciate the efforts of our county employees. I think if our citizens and leadership work together, we can do a little bit better in meeting one of our goals, which of course is the beautification of Linn County. We can't do that if we kill the vegetation. And that's what I had.
Did you have any photos?
Johnny's here. If you want to step up here, Johnny, and talk about what you're using.
Yeah. This is what
And the address is on there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jacqueline, would you like a copy?
So if you could just go over policy procedures, how we maintain cold. I think it can address some of the concerns.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
So I didn't have anything prepared, but after hearing the gentleman's observations, first I want to compliment him on his accomplishments and experience that he has with the things that he mentioned. And I actually respect a lot of those, and everybody has a different opinion how to approach dealing with the issues he spoke about, particularly spraying for the culverts and bridges and so on. First, I'll just say that what I chose to do, this was actually the first season I chose to do this, and I spoke with the previous Public Works Director first about it, Sean West. Then when we had the interim one, Jesse have made him aware. I send them an email, usually every week, maybe every other week, with updates and overviews of what we've been doing and our goals going forward. And I assume those get forwarded to the commissioners. So I haven't spoken to any of you personally to tell you, but my approach coming into this year was in April. This is my fourth season doing the noxious weed spraying for the county, and April was always a challenge to do broadcast spraying for broadleaf. It's a very windy month. It's a very wet month. You have standing water in ditches. I'm not comfortable spraying in standing water. So my goal was to spend the month of April working on culverts, bridges, guardrails, whistles, line of sight issues, like it could be a corner where growth gets up. And the approach that I took also spoke to the road shop foreman and kind of got everybody's input. And since April is the month that it's going to be before the mowing season starts for our county mowers, thought I would get a jump ahead of, so this would actually benefit the mowing. They could more efficiently be able to mow to where I'm doing bare ground spraying in those areas without having to back in and out, trying to clean up those areas, line of sight areas and so on. So it's kind of a joint effort in all of us. And I've actually got a lot of comments. I mean, obviously I respect this gentleman's comments and observations on it. And I actually had a lot of comments throughout this month of people noticing that the bridges and culverts and so on and line of sight that obviously when you spray bare ground, it's not pretty. It's bare ground. It's not vegetation anymore. So it's, I even understand that someone may think that's unsightly. And it wasn't something I wanted to practice repeatedly, like maybe next year we may take a year off doing a bare ground spraying in those same areas because of the things he brought up with erosion and things and concerns that you might have. But so that just kind of explains the reason that we did it, chose to do it. What he also may have been seeing on the road, because I'm familiar with the road, he's talking about where he lives. Last year, we had several complaints starting in the month of July, leading into August about Johnson grass. Johnson grass is a problem in almost any county in this part of the country. One of the ways you can control Johnson grass is mechanical, which is mowing. Last year, we had a bunch of challenges with mowing. We had between seasonal mowers were not staying around or not applying at all. We had mowers broke down, so we had a lot of ditches on main thoroughfares and paved roads, like 200, that were getting away in growth. Well, that's the big growing season for Johnson grass, and it can go from a foot, 2.5 high to 5 foot tall in the month of July and August. And so at that time, again, it was former Public Works Director Sean West that came and talked to him and said, it's not really a noxious weed problem, it's a mowing problem, because we'd like to control that with mowing, but because I know the challenges mowing's having right now, I can go out and spray it, which is going to be with a bare ground chemical, because that's the only thing that'll kill Johnson grass. There's really, the only selective thing they have out there for Johnson grass is it takes a process. You have to mow it first, let it come up to about an 8 to 10 inch growth. It's going to be in a growing process, and you spray it with this particular chemical, and it translocates into the Johnson grass selectively, and doesn't kill the other grass around it. I actually did get the test of it because I got with one of the mowers up at the North District and asked, what road are you going to mow? And he gave me that it was 2100 leading into Parker going west from Highway 7. So I was able to go exactly through the processes recommended on the label of the chemical, and it did seem to work. It dinged a few grasses, but for the most part, it controlled the Johnson grass. And I would like to do that throughout the county to control Johnson grass, but it's a process we haven't been able to perfect yet with the mowing. And so the only other way to control Johnson grass chemically is you spray it with a bare ground that's going to kill it and everything with it. So with the permission, and not so much permission, but at least the knowledge that my supervisor at the time had, he said, I said, we're having complaints. I had them coming in. They were calling into Joyce. I had service requests. We got Johnson grass on this road and that road. I said, all I can do is spray with this, and it's going to kill everything. It's going to be ugly. It doesn't mow it. The Johnson grass doesn't disappear. You had 5 foot Johnson grass that's green. Now you have 5 foot Johnson grass that's brown and everything around. But we have to do something to control it if we have complaints. So a lot of that area down there got sprayed, and it, you know, if Johnson grass grew for 20 feet long, we sprayed for 20 feet long where that Johnson grass was. So some of those patches are even leaking from last year. And then, like I said, otherwise we did choose to do the guardrails, bridges, culverts, especially in April. What I thought my thought was, and that I discussed with other persons like the road shop one and so on. April was the flash flood month, we all know around here. Last year we had like a 100-year flood. And some of the biggest problems of one of the roads that still isn't repaired is from blockage on those culverts. Debris, grass, brush, that kind of stuff. So that was one of the conscious efforts we made, that if we do spray those culverts and whistles and so on, that maybe we'll get better water flow and have less flooding and so on. So it's kind of a conscious effort between all. I'm always open to suggestion. I'm not saying my way is absolute right way. I actually encourage that me and this gentleman, I've never met him before, we have a discussion anytime. I'm open not just to him, but any of the residents in the county. If they don't want me spraying something in front of I actually was contacted by a gentleman that lives on 1095. And he has a small orchard that I didn't notice from the road. He's not on the no spray list. But he called and talked to me about not spraying up in front of anything out in front of his area. I said, that's fine. I said, then I'll just, it's county right of way. But he asked if we wouldn't, so it wouldn't, because his orchard is right close to the county right of way. And I said, all I ask of you is if there's noxious weeds out there, that maybe you take care of them then. Because you can mechanically take care of things without spraying. That can be done. That can be accomplished. It's a lot more of a challenge. But before something goes to seed, if you mow it, cut it, pull it up manually, there's other ways. So I have no problem with any of the residents in the county contacting me and being asked to be put on a no spray list or so on. And in any kind of conversation between me and any of the residents about how we're spraying and what we're doing, I very much respect this gentleman's knowledge, and from what he said he used to take care of it, I could probably glean some good information from this person. So I solely encourage the conversation to go beyond this and appreciate his observations and what he's brought up to the commissioners. Do you have any other questions for me about it?
I've noticed some of it, Johnny, and I mean, there's some places that it's pretty excessive, but like I said, maybe we can look at another type of spray that don't kill the grass, that kills the weeds, the broadleaves, and the things around the culverts. But Wall Street, I drive it every day, and out that way I see where you sprayed, and there's some places.
And that's what we'll be transitioning to next is, like I said, April and kind of the 1st of May, that wet, windy season, hard to do broadcast spraying for broadleaf. But that's our transition now. We're right into that phase of changing over to broadleaf broadcast spraying for the broadleaf noxious weeds. Our rodent spray also takes care of some of the brushing stuff too, saplings and so on. And actually, I follow up with the road shop woman. I've encouraged them to always let me know where they boom mow, because it actually helps. If they boom mow something this time of year through the summer, and I come on and spray my road mix on what they boom mowed, it won't bloom right back out in a couple of months. It doesn't necessarily kill the trees on that fence row, but it definitely keeps it from blooming right back out and making their job they just done only lasts 2 or 3 weeks. So I try to work with everybody, and I'm definitely open to suggestions and certainly my goal isn't to upset any residents or make our county look worse. I have the opposite goal. So.
Well, I've had the residents talk even about the Johnson grass. I mean, what we've killed out there in areas, and I mean, there is it, and you don't hide it.
Yeah,
once you do it, it's done.
Unfortunately, it's an ugly way to control it with chemicals. And I wish we didn't have to control it with chemicals at all. If we ever get to a point, and that's above my pay grade, not in my department, but if we get to a point where we can mechanically control Johnson grass, that to be honest with you, you could have Johnson grass in your front lawn, but because you mow it every day, it's not a nuisance to anybody. It doesn't go to seed. It's part of the other grass with the other grasses in your front lawn, but because it gets mechanically mowed every week, every 2 weeks or whatever, it's not a nuisance to anybody. And it could be the same way in our rights of way. If it gets mowed often enough, no one would even notice the Johnson grass. Where it gets noticed is whenever we don't get mowing done. And like I said, Johnson grass is an amazing plant. In the month of July to August, it can grow 3 feet. It's amazing. And then it goes to seed, and then it spreads. It spreads through rhizomes on the ground and so on. So it's very invasive, and it's a challenge to control. And the bad part about it is when you control it chemically, it's up. First, didn't it?
Could you put me on the spray list then?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you?
You can call and talk to me and come by my office. I like to do a talk there with you, and just so everybody knows too. Just I know it may not be something that was knowledge to everybody, but I started this last year to work really well. So my assistant works a 5-day, 8-hour day week. She also helps assist out at the landfill. So that I could stay out spraying longer, I'm Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day. So I stay out about 8 hours, get back in about 3:30 to 4 to my office. And so that's a good time to catch me either on the phone or at my office is between 3:30 and 5:30, I'm at the office doing like administrative paperwork duties and so on. And then in the morning before I leave, when I do cost shares for a lot of people, I like to do it in the morning before I leave. Gives the grass time to dry, any inversion we have, maybe if we had a foggy morning or whatever, it's not good to spray, get that to dry up. And I'll write my cost shares and deliver them to people or to vendors during the day. So just so as a public announcement, so everybody knows a good time, if you wanted to reach me, to meet me at my office, 3:30 to 5:30 is a good time, or in the morning till 8 o'clock. We clock in at 7. So we're there from 7 to 8, 8:30 usually before we take off. And everyone, anyone's welcome to come by. Or I can come to anybody's home if they call me, I can work sales. So I do want to be available to anybody that wants to speak about that stuff.
Appreciate it, if you take a look at that intersection of Jackson and 200.
Okay. We'll do that.
Turn the pressure down on it.
I tell you, that's one thing I found out about this job. Is I was shocked that I was coming in about overspraying this year, because last year it was underspraying. I wasn't doing enough. I literally got stopped like a Barney Fife citizen arrest from a resident last year that literally pulled in front of our moving vehicle to stop us, to tell us we weren't spraying enough Johnson grass. So that's why it's a fine balance between South and Brian's. But I'm open to any suggestions and trying to find a balance.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Shawnee. To get on the no spray list, is it just a call? Is it something we have on the website?
It's not on the website, but they call, or even if they call Joyce or call me, I make a list I carry in my paperwork in my truck every day, and
Okay.
they help me to be conscious of no sprays. There's also.
Okay, sorry. Thought we were done, but
That's okay. Yes, as far as the no spray list, there's 2 different ways. There's actually a website that we make as a practice before we spray any area that if they are organic growing or bees or certain things like that, it's called Driftwatch, driftwatch.com. And we check that in our truck before we spray in an area, and there's quite a few in Linn County that's registered on that website. But if they have registered on the website, they just want to be on our personal no spray list, they can call Joyce. Joyce will send me an email or call me. I'll put it on there, and I try to make it's basically just a handwritten log that I keep, or that maybe someday if it gets large enough, I can make a spreadsheet or whatever. And it's just going to be something that would give us the conscious effort of checking when we spray an area. I'll look at the no spray list. Are we near someone that doesn't want to be sprayed for any given reason? I mean, it doesn't have to be organic and bees. If, like I said, the gentleman had an orchard, he just had a concern about it, respected it, and I said the only thing I ask is we're responsible as a county for the noxious weeds by state law in that right of way. That's an actual, it's not just a suggestion, it's a law. And I said, so if you're asking us not to spray there, would you like to take responsibility of noxious weeds in your area? He said, absolutely. I'll mow it, I'll cut them, and so that's fine. That works for me. I mean, that we're all in agreement and covered, and everything's good. So, like I said, my practice hopefully is to always make sure that it works.
And you might, I don't know, maybe you have, but you can drive out Wall Street and just look at the different places. There is some that's pretty excessive. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something you can turn your pressure down, or, use the hand wand or whatever. I don't even know what you use, how you do it, but it's, you take a look at it.
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
thanks, Johnny. Have a good day.
Anything else?
Next Monday is a holiday, so we would need to move our meeting to Tuesday, the 27th.
I'll make a motion. We move next week's commission meeting to 9 a.m. Tuesday, the 27th, because of the holiday on Monday.
The only thing I had, so on the stars, we had a question last week. And sorry.
You're gonna second?
Oh, sorry. I'll second that. Sorry, I'm moving on.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in
No.
favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
On the email that you
Don't listen to me, does she?
I'm sorry. I apologize. Usually you're asking, is there anything else? And I'm like trying to jump on. Yes, there is. There are
Go
a
ahead.
million things. Hold on. Do not adjourn. STARS program, I got that email. So it's in contingency. We haven't made a payment in 2025, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And are we required? Are we required to make that payment though?
I don't have a good answer for you yet. Okay. I've reached out to K-Camp to see if they had any suggestions or advice to offer as far as if we're obligated, if it's budgeted in contingency to provide the funds.
Can you help us look into that? Or no? Let's see. I had one more 10-minute non-elected personnel, right? With Jacqueline?
I missed that one if you did. Maybe
I
there's
think I did. It's with Danielle.
with Danielle and Jacqueline.
Yeah.
4.
Non-elected
Okay.
personnel job
Okay.
performance.
Make your motion to go in.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for 10 minutes, returning at 12 for non-elected personnel job description pursuant to KSA 754319 with the commissioners, the clerk, and county counselor.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Was no action. Got something else?
I'm good. I'm good.
You good? Anybody else got anything? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.